it's his turn to talk.
Yes.
That's what I was wondering. So you'll put me first and then pass it to him.
I don't know that we need to, though, honestly, because he's just going to talk into the mic. Okay. The goal of the
hear you.
Yeah. We're talking. What is my phone doing? It's doing what it want to do, and I don't understand. Oh, it's versed it somehow. My bad, people. I caught it eventually. Eventually, I caught it. And Pastor, we're gonna need the whole 30 minutes with this crew.
Oh Lord,
I'm trying to tell you. Oh, I need an hour.
No, you don't. That drive home will be nice and long.
I don't know who coming in, who on, but we about to find out.
Okay, you ready? How come she don't come to youth group?
That's a mama right there.
I had no idea.
I'm just a
Well, she come here. I know her, right?
Oh, you know, yeah.
She's the one I bring.
Oh.
Yeah. See, I've been
That's
to
the
Dominion
mama.
Center. I'm her mother.
Okay, well, how y'all related?
So this is my stepmother. Mama. My dad.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You got to hear the story today.
No.
He ain't paying attention to my
Because I see her all the time coming with her.
Yeah.
So I figured it was her granddaughter.
Oh yeah.
But I didn't know she had anything to do with you.
Oh yeah.
Because I didn't.
Ain't that something?
And when we did the show, I said my daughter.
Yeah.
I must have missed it.
In love.
I missed it.
Because I've been going to my home church at Dominion Center.
Okay, I get it. I missed that. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we love her.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
She been good?
Oh, yeah.
That's my son.
She know we talking about her. But she can't
I know.
But she need to come to youth group and she needs to dance with the girls. She need to come to youth group and dance with the girls.
Okay. I would love that.
She would do that.
Yeah.
She's in the dance.
They're going to be starting like in 2 weeks
She
for
would
Easter.
love that. Okay, can we get it? All right.
If that mama and your daddy come to church, they'll know.
Oh, you said if they... Okay, you're right. All right.
Look at them side eye at each other.
That's good. You had to tell me to come off.
Right. You got it. That's how you laugh. You did exactly right. That's exactly what you want to do. That's exactly what you did. It perfectly. Okay. All right. But I'm serious. That's the way you want to do it. When you laugh, you back up and laugh.
Yeah. Good.
I'm there with you.
I'm telling you, if you listen to me,
I'm there with
you're gonna have the best show.
You don't have to reiterate. I'm there with you.
Oh, it's gonna be fun.
You want your phone to go live, honey?
I'm gonna put an extra set of eyes on you.
There's a stand right. Oh, he got a whole lot of work for me.
Okay.
Hear this story.
We're ready.
Okay.
Somebody pray.
Boom. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for blessing me with a family and those of them who will support me, even though it may be stretching them. Thank you so much for being able to give me this platform to be able to reach out to others who may not know what to do. And thank you for allowing our Spirit Online to give those of us in the community the ability to have a voice. And may this session tonight be a blessing upon those that are on my live and who hear this online as well. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Okay, we're ready.
Nobody say something now.
That's right.
Well, the good news is it's recorded, so.
Okay, there you go.
All right, stand by.
Welcome to Real Love and Healthy Relationships with me, Miss Debbie Cakes, here with Our Spirit Online. Tonight's show, we're going to be having a conversation about the blended family and the love and the challenges that exist within. Stay tuned. Hey, Facebook family and Eddie friends who gonna hear him speak. welcome tonight to Our Spirit Online as we have a conversation about the blended family. And so I decided to bring in my family, our blended family. And we're going to talk about the love, we're going to talk about the challenges, we're going to talk about the issues that people sometimes don't realize is going to exist when you are trying to establish a relationship with someone and it's your second time around. He's bringing children, you're bringing children. How do you blend that well? And sometimes how do you overcome with the Holy Spirit and God to be able to help you to persevere and get through? So tonight, I'm not going to do a lot of long introductions because we're not going to have enough time for this show. So in the audience studio, we have my husband, my beloved, wonderful Mr. Cakes, Mr. Eddie Brown Jr., and we have our family's daughter. We have Karis Brown, and we have Jay. And so the very first thing I want to allow is for Eddie to be able to share his version of how we met.
Well, it was my brother-in-law, Jimmy. He always had somebody for me to meet.
Come on.
At his shows, Jimmy Highsmith, Jr. He always had somebody for me to meet at his show. And one day he called me and said, I want you to meet somebody. I gave her your number. So we ended up hooking up, and we went out to lunch the next day.
It wasn't me.
Yeah. That's how we met.
That's your short version?
And then, tell your version.
Oh my God. Your short version?
I can tell you when you're wrong.
Ooh, goodness Lord be with me.
Here it is.
So what had happened was, Jimmy and I sat on a board. I was very intricately trying to be involved in the community. So we sat on a board of men. And I was a single mother. I was a single woman. So I was a foremother to the forefather movement of trying to make changes in Rochester or just in general for men. And so Jimmy sat on that board. So 2 years prior, Jimmy had said to me, I got somebody I want you to meet. And I said, really? He said, yeah, he's looking to go through a divorce and everything. And I said, oh, well, what I'm going to do is you tell him to call me. I chose not to get his number because as women, we have a compulsion. We like, do I call you in 5 minutes, 30 minutes? The next day, is that too long? So I wanted to remove my overall mindset of thinking I need to call him. Let him take the lead. So 2 years later, he never called. So I don't know what happened within that 2-year time period, but I never talked to him. So Jimmy did another show. As you know, Jimmy, his birthday parties, his birthday is September. It was actually in January. He did a show. And so it was their anniversary. Had to be January 1st, because it was in January. So Jimmy did a show, and he came to the board, and he was like, I saw him at the show. Jimmy, I saw you at the show. And he said, well, you know what? I got this girl, and I'm going to hook her up with my brother-in-law. And I said, hold the phone. Hold up. Brother-in-law? Is this the same brother-in-law you was trying to hook me up with 2 years ago, Jimmy? And he was like, I said, no, bro. No. My grandmama said if I can't be the cake, I won't be nobody crumb. So, apparently it wasn't meant to work. So, Jimmy decides, right then and there, gave him a call. So, Jimmy called Eddie. And I was like, hi. Well, my grandmother said, if I can't be the cake, I won't be the crumb. So, we're just now meeting, and it's been 2 years. So, that was how we got connected. And then, so we decided to go out to lunch. And so then what we talked on the phone, this was the MySpace era. So I stalked his MySpace page, looking for his kids. Looking to see what the kids was like. All of the kids, how they was like, what his interest was. And so at the time he was standing next to his Mark IV. Mark 8, one of them cars. And I was like, I know he don't think he's smooth.
Oh, I was smooth.
Oh, you smooth.
I was like, I know he don't think he's smooth.
Yep, you was smooth.
Really? So we then go to lunch. And I'm not going to get into the in-depthness of that story of us going to lunch. Outside of that, we then went, he invited me to his family on that Sunday. Super Bowl Sunday. So for me, I was like, oh, you want me to come meet the family? This is nice. This is a first. You know, it's rare being single and being invited to see the family. We just out the gate. So I came and met the family, and it was at Vaughn, his sister's house. And I saw generations upon generations loving upon each other. And I was like, oh my, this exists in Rochester? Wait a minute. Because my family used to get together every holiday, birthdays. We used to come together until we got grown, and then it fell off. So to be able to see siblings with their children, and his father was there because his grandmother was still alive, and mom was at home taking care of her. So I was like, oh my goodness. So I'm looking at all the kids, and he was like, well, that's my daughter. Oh, she must look like her mama in my head. And he was like, that's my son. Oh, he definitely looked like you. And I'm looking at everybody, and I'm getting acquainted with the family. So his niece, oh, I'm sorry, you got something to say, Mr. Brown?
I warned you that you had 2 nieces you had to get through before you even got through the kids.
Ooh, come on with it. That's not the truth.
I don't know who the 2 was, but
Natalie
the one,
oh, really?
the one that was staring at me like she had nothing. I was like a bullseye. She was dead-eyed at me. I'm like, who is this chick? And so they were serving food, and I was sitting down. So I got up. Next thing I know, here come Nat swarming in next to Uncle Eddie. I was like, oh my, okay, it's this kind of party going on in here. So then I went over and talked to Dad, and we were talking about he worked at Kodak. I was like, my mother worked at Kodak. You know, we sharing stories. So then he gently just says to me, well, you know I need a daughter-in-law. I was like, ooh, no, we not there. We just friends. We just friends. Because actually what had happened for me was, in December I resolved, God, you know I deserve a husband, the woman that I am. I don't think here in Rochester. So I got on blackpeoplemeet.com, and I went looking for him in North Carolina, where I was going to go find my husband in North Carolina, because he wasn't in Rochester, but I knew God had a man for me. I knew I was a woman that should be with someone, though I didn't know how to be in a relationship because of my own life trials and histories and stuff. But I was willing to try and to learn. And at that time, I thought I was ready. Little did I realize, I was ready for being single. I was ready to be dating. But was I ready to be in a blended family? So Eddie and I finally, you know, I was like, he said to me, he was on a 5 to 10. And I said, really? So honey, explain to people, when a man tells you he's on a 5 to 10, what that means.
Well, for me, it was just coming out of a marriage, 15 years, and I just thought I just needed some time, you know, credit-wise, you know, get my credit score back where I wanted it. I just thought I needed that time.
When a man tells you he needs time, believe him.
Oh.
Because what had happened was, I knew and felt that I was a woman that could help him, and the kids looked like they was needing some stuff, some structure. It looked like they needed some structure, and I was the it chick. And he needed a break, and I had his back. So he had the right one, baby. So so he finally decided. I was like, well, we just friends, you know, we just chilling. I wasn't looking for no husband. I just didn't mind a free dinner here and there. That was my mindset. Go out, socialize. Jay giving me the screw eye. Go out, socialize. You know, meet people, socialize, nothing more than that. Get to know them for who they are. So over time, he actually chased me.
Not true, Facebook.
And our spirit, that online community. So why do you feel you didn't chase me? And then I'll explain why you did.
I didn't. I was just, you wasn't doing nothing. I wasn't doing nothing. So that was back when, what was it? Netflix was ordering DVDs. So
It
I always
was.
had it. So, and that's pretty much what we did. So we'll order something, come in and watch a movie.
It didn't go like that.
Oh, here we go.
Let me tell y'all how it went. Let me tell y'all how it went, social media family. This is how it went. So the next day after meeting the family, I was was like, I ain't gonna see him because that's what they do today. They act like they gonna call you, but they don't. So he was like, well, I'm getting ready. I'm gonna go in at 5, but I'm gonna cook for my kids. I'm gonna bring you something to eat. I said, ooh, okay. And then he was like, well, when I get out from work, I'm gonna come by to see you, and then I'm gonna go home. I said, ooh, okay. So I'm watching his. You got something to say about that?
That's how you remember.
Did you not cook for me?
Yeah, that's what I do.
Okay, so you served me. So you acts of service me. My love language was acts of service and quality time. And this man made sure nobody could call me, nobody could visit me. I couldn't think about who else I could go out with because he was there every day, all day, and he's still here today. And so as a woman being single for 20-some years and not having someone chase you, not having someone value your time, wanting to give them your time, I finally saw that in him. So one day I said to him, you don't date, you date to marry. And I was like, that's deep. Because you don't date just to play and hurt people's feelings. You're on a mission, and I had to ask myself, was I ready? For as much as I said I was ready to be married, now here he is. That Mark 8 didn't quite cut it. He looked like he thought he was, Mac Daddy out there or something. And I was like, he's not packaged like my mind, my flesh, but his heart started speaking to me. Then the nieces was calling me auntie. I'm not no auntie. So it was a beautiful courtship. We got engaged. Actually, he asked me to marry over Southern salad at Pellegrino's. He didn't get down on no knee. He didn't have a rag.
We had time for all that.
We was 40-something years old. And he was like, you want to do this? It was right actually, Jimmy and Lou renewed their vows. And it's funny how all of a sudden there's wedding in the air. It kind of touches you or something. So we went to eat. We was hungry. And he was like, you want to do this?
No, you said, that's when you talking about, so you really on a 5 to 10? Or something like that.
Okay.
And you said, why? And I told you why. And I got a plan. This is not. And then you just, all right, let's just do it then.
So we decided to get married, and now we need to set a date. So love is in the air. We're still good, but we ain't connected. So when I met the kids, they loved Dad. They loved Dad. They wanted Dad happy, but not at a price, and that's what came later. So I'm going to jumpstart real fast because this ain't but a half-hour show. So I'm going to ask Karis. So Karis, once we finally got married, and how did you contribute to my life held here on earth after we got married?
I had a plan. I was trying to get you up out of there. I was like, no, I want my dad to myself. I was the only daughter. I was the middle child. I said, I finally got my dad to myself. Nobody gonna get him this time. So it wasn't really my plan, but everything in my actions showed that I wanted it all about me. So I wasn't ready to make room or to accept another, mother figure in my life yet. And I do apologize now that I'm grown and all.
It was not for the grace of God and the Holy Spirit. Jesus. And so one of the things I used to say to them all the time was, I'm gonna leave your daddy, but not because of him, because of y'all. And they hated that. They hated to hear me say that. They were like, if you love our dad, you would say anything like that. But it came to the point where I had to say, my biological daughter, was living in North Carolina. She wasn't here. And I'm disconnected from my family because I don't do drama. Why am I going to walk into something and do drama? And so it ended up being where the father and the son had to meet and be on one accord when it came to me. So, Jay, what did you do to contribute to my hell here on earth?
I didn't do anything intentionally.
I received that. I believe you received that, yes.
What had happened was, I was a 16-year-old meeting you for the first time. And like you said, in your eyes, you thought we needed structure. And in my eyes, who is you to tell me what I
That's
need?
right. There you go. There you go. That's real. That's
was
real.
like the seed that grew into the tree of problems.
That was a good way to say it.
A bad seed got planted, and it was trying to throw them vines. It was trying to throw them. Woo! It was trying to choke stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
And there was many a night where I would come home, and the teenagers had the house on lock.
Oh yeah.
Karis had cooked for her boyfriend.
Sure did.
Cooked for the house. Jay was there playing video games with Kyrie and the homeboys and the friends. I just got out from working 8 hours, and every 4 months when this man worked at night, them kids ran amok.
I'm sorry about that, yo.
It always was like a trigger because I wasn't having it. But do I fight with the kids or what do I do? And literally, I would come home and the Holy Spirit said, "Turn around and go. Turn around and go." Eddie and I also had an issue where I was single for 20-something years. I'm sorry. Yes, Jay?
I just want to say something, only because we're talking about blended families, and I feel like this is a very good point to make. You say that like we was running amok at nights when Dad was at work, but once again, we're a blended family.
Right.
On our mom's side, we party, we're live, that's what we do, and that's normal. So when our parents were married, he was used to that. So even when he was home, like if he was asleep, yeah, we would have to keep it down a little bit, but it was the times where he wasn't asleep, where he was at work, we got to be the rambunctious us. Right. So we carried that with us to his house because that's all we knew. So we wore earplugs just because it was common for us to live that way. That was just what we did. So it was a norm. So when it came to that age where you came through and you're like, oh, y'all acting too wild, in our eyes, we're not doing anything different than what our parents have honestly raised us to do and to be. So when you say we needed structure and to not do things, that's where the bucking began because, well, where it seemed as bucking because where we want to at least explain to you, like, no, this is normal. Like, we're not doing that. Now it's a perception thing, and that's where blended families become blended. It's like we have to give and take a little bit. We had to turn it down a little bit, but you also had to get used to, all right, Saturdays and Fridays, we're going to turn it up a little bit. But during the week, we're going to turn it down because we respect you. Like, we had to find a little bit of balance.
This one right here, as you can see, we was in intellectual conversational mode, and it constantly to this day. So one of the things I had did, for instance, I said, well, we're together now. You can't call me Del, bro. That's not about to go down.
Come on, talk about it.
Because I'm old school, so I need a title. You need to put a title around this thing. So, Karis, your title for me was?
What? You know what?
What do you call me?
I call you Mom.
Thank you. Karis received it as Mom. Kyron calls me Mama D. I received that. I'm good with that. Jay, what was your name for me?
Del Beezy.
That's where it stayed.
Beezy.
I'm going to find a loophole.
That's where it stayed
today. Call her by her first name. Okay. I respect that.
Found a loophole.
All right, Del Beezy. And then it worked though.
So I wanted a respectable title. It didn't have to be Mom. I could see his heart. He was really struggling with this. Another mother. Another body of structure. And the Lord said, it's okay. And I said, Jay, I'm going to receive that. And so today he still called me Del Beezy.
Oh my God.
And I call him Julio.
There you go.
Because he likes speaking Spanish. So you end up needing to create these relationships that have to be curtailed to that person. Karis had children. Oh, Jesus. Have mercy. Hallelujah.
I ain't do nothing.
What Karis did not know, and a couple things happened with the blended family. The mother, Tammy, regardless of the fact that they were separated and they got divorced, these kids were still in school. So she couldn't check out. I would not allow that. I wouldn't have that. So it was, Eddie wanted her checked out. It can't happen. These kids need their mother. They really only respect their mother. So we had to build an alliance, really, so that they didn't come in between us. So when Karis would have things going on, I'd be like, Tammy, what's up? Tammy, what's up? Tammy, call Eddie. We get on three-way. Okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to have a meeting. And so we formed an alliance so that the kids could not create a wedge between what we had. And even though it was challenging for him all those years to have her come to the birthday parties, the Christmas parties, the Brown birthday parties, for me it didn't matter because she was your mom. And I wanted us to have a respect for each other. So that blended family thing can be so challenging because there's so many things you had to learn. I was single for 20-some years. I always had a room that I could shut the world out. I could go to my office. I lost the office when I was with y'all. And so what I realized is, wild and rambunctious as you were, I needed my own. What was my thing? And I shut down. I had to go. And that's one reason why I realized I needed to leave. And I'm calling him, this is impacting us. And finally I said to him, your kids every day kept saying, my daddy ain't say. Well, my daddy said. Did you not?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, thank you. My daddy ain't say that. Well, I need to hear it from my daddy mouth. And for as much as I had him and I had his back, I said, Eddie, your children need to hear your voice.
That's right. That's true.
So what we gonna do, we would have monthly family meetings. It drove them crazy. I didn't care. We needed to level set. We needed to talk about what was happening in that house. Karis, when she started having her children, we battled because I was the woman of this house. And she wanted her woman space. So Karis had to pay rent, and she still couldn't have company past midnight. She couldn't have company in her room. And it was hard for her. Because at the end of the day, there was rules and boundaries at mom's house. And if you want your own, you need your own number. That was something their family learned about me. I was like, at 56, I got this.
You sure did.
And his mom used to be like, why do you say that? Because I need a way to be able to say my domain in Lair is at 56. Not Tammy house, not Karis house. And so at the end of the day, it was just a conversation about, you know, how do we blend? Because so many families break apart because they can't get past this. They can't get past this. The kids have a mindset. The kids want control. The kids was teenagers. They wanted autonomy. And I'm like, y'all can't have autonomy. And Eddie, you can check out. Yes, Karen.
If I can add, I know I was in a stage in my life where I needed room to find myself too. I mean, in a newly divorced situation, me being a young woman, trying to find my way in life, trying to figure out what parent I wanted to live with, who I wanted to listen to, you know, build my relationship with my dad, figure out, you know, my dating situations. It was a lot. So I don't think, I didn't intentionally want to, you know, I guess cause any ruckus in the household. I just really needed to find myself, and I didn't know where to start.
Right.
So that too is very difficult when a blended family is looking up to another mother figure, trying to figure out my relationship with my, you know, my mother,
Right.
and trying to figure out how those two go hand in hand and who leads who. So
you know, it's like, how do you have a meeting so that, well, that was one of the reasons we had meetings. So if there was an issue, it was Tammy was there, Eddie was there, and we like looking at you, we all together on one page, and that had to be hard for you. But at the end of the day, it's the adults of the family that have to teach you, that have to help you, because you don't know. You're not supposed to know. You haven't experienced that. So many parents want to check out as soon as y'all graduate. It's like, this is a new form of your life. You can check out. And so regardless of whether or not he wanted a break, we can't have a break. We can't have a break, yo. You know, as the urban community, as black families in our black communities, we can't afford to give our children breaks, because who's out there giving them one? If we don't hold our families down and support our families, who will? And so that's why it was, I'm going to say this story, because I'm going to say this story. Your mama, oh Jesus. So it got to that point where with your mama, I felt enough was enough. Karis had moved out. Jay went to college. Kyron was already out. So one reason Kyron isn't here, he was never the bad kid. He was already doing crazy stuff. He was doing crazy stuff, but he wasn't at the house. But there came a time where we had a family function, and Tammy came, and I was in line, and I had the babies, and Eddie had somebody, and she was like, so you just gonna feed the kids and not, you gonna feed your husband and not the kids? I was like, hold the phone. Wait a minute. So there's going to be those struggles sometimes with that other parent. And what I wanted to create was an atmosphere. You're going to be respected. But then I had to fight for being the woman of this house and the wife to this man. And so it was hard for you guys to hear, no, she can't come to no functions. I had to call Mom. I called Vaughn. She can't come to no functions. And it wasn't easy for me but I had to be able to say, I need my own measure of respect. There's so many wives and women that's trying to fight for their position. And so you're right. We got to have a better way to communicate and have conversations about a lot of this. Some of this stuff you might just be hearing. Some of this stuff ain't that no Jay like, nah, I know. You know, I try to be an open communicator with you all, because whatever you learn watching us is going to be something that you're going to take into your own lives. So if we don't model and be your life models, then you're gonna learn what life looks like from other people, and that may not be what we want you to see. So, honey, in all of this, what was your struggle watching us struggle?
I'll be at work. Phone call. Oh, now what? James, just go in your room till I get home.
Oh man, we did.
It was hard. It was difficult because you got your kids and you know what they're used to, and you have your new wife. And in most homes, the wife runs the house, somewhat.
This one wasn't happening.
So we eventually got through it, and things got better. Things got better with their mom. Like, we all friends now. Yeah. You know, she comes over. She's invited all the time.
What's so funny is, many people in the community know I do stage plays, and I needed a mother figure. She ain't had to talk. She just had to walk the child on the stage and walk the child off. Tammy, you want to have that? Because in that particular project, all of her children and all of her grands was in that project. Why wouldn't she want to be a part of something so that it could be a legacy that she could remember or something like that? And the cast was like, why is she here? Did you hear what she said? I said, in Jesus' name, he going to help me get through this, Lord. Yes, he is. I call on him a whole lot. Because you kind of have to, man. If your flesh kick in, all things going to break. And you don't want that. So you got to be able to have that relationship with God and the Holy Spirit to guide you through those tough times and those rough times. Because if you don't have that, if you don't have, the church and our foundation of faith is where we build the structure for family. And when people are out here wondering, I'm going to be YOLO, do me, you only live once. Okay, well, how that's going to work for you? Because you can't have everything. You can't have your way all the time. It can't be about you all the time. You got bosses and people that you need to go to. So in summary, I want to make sure that we understand that the husband and wife got to get to know each other. Then they have to take the time to get to know the children. They then got to take the time to get to know the families. And let us not forget our elder community out there that are now remarrying into blended families. Remember to love on them because they need you. Thank you so much for tuning in to Our Spirit Online tonight. Next week, I got a hot one for you. So stay tuned and God bless.
Right.
You didn't have to end that fast.
You just kept shaking like, yeah, you get out of here.
That was it. Yeah, let's get out of here.
No. Okay, this means keep talking.
Oh, look, I didn't know that either.
No, this means keep talking.
Where's the break point?
I know, right?
Oh yeah. We're gonna do a break. We'll do that. But this means it's time to do an outro. No.
Well, once I heard the music, then I was like, let me try to wrap this up so that
you can keep talking. It's the background music.
My brother held it down.
I'm
proud of my
brother. Y'all welcome. No.
I'm not for real. No, that is Jay. I'm proud of you, man.
Because you still had like 3 minutes.
Bring it in. Yes, it is. We gotta acknowledge that. Thank you, Ma. I love you. We gotta clap it up for Dad because Dad did his thing, man. Dad, I love you, man. Yeah, he is. Who was this guy?
Clap on that Brown Facebook family because he sure didn't want to do this thing.
But he did a wonderful job. Oh, he
last
loves
time
you.
you gonna see me on Facebook.
First day and last day.
You got it. So somebody said your camera was dirty.
Oh, did you came into my live? It could be. Okay. Thank you for helping the sister out. I'll try to fix it.
No, it's not. It's not.
I don't know. It could be on the.
See, stop it. Stop it.
Yeah, please.